I'm done. I spent weeks preparing for that interview. It was for a project coordinator role. I would have been working on community projects focused on helping families in need. I have 4 years' experience in this space. It was a perfect fit. I really wanted this job. I prepared for the interview as if I was preparing for an exam. I researched everything about the company. I studied their website, read every press release, familiarised myself with their annual reports. I even followed the company on social media and went through all their recent posts. I conducted mock interviews with a friend and recorded the sessions. I made sure to always use the STAR method when I practiced my mock answers. When I watched back the sessions, I realised that I spoke a bit too fast when I got nervous, so I actively worked on moderating my speed. I drafted a list of questions to ask at the end of the interview. These questions would show that I wasn't just applying for financial reasons, but I was actually interested in the company. The interview would take place via a Zoom call, so I set up my room the night before. I moved my desk to the other side of the room so that my backdrop would show a clean white wall. It looked more professional. The night before I barely slept, but when the interview finally happened, it seriously couldn't have gone any better. I logged into the Zoom meeting room 15 minutes early, just to get ahead of any potential technical issues. There were 3 interviewers in total. I managed to ease the tension right away with a light-hearted joke that made everyone laugh. Then came the questions. What do you know about our company? What's your greatest strength? What's your biggest weakness? Tell us about a time you had to think on your feet. What's your approach to solving problems? Not only did I provide detailed and thoughtful answers to each one, but I made sure to keep them relevant. I backed up my points with real examples from past projects and drew clear connections between my previous work and what the company was currently doing. Every so often, I would catch one of the interviewers breaking composure to smile, almost as if they were pleasantly surprised by how much I knew about their company. I was careful not to overdo it. I made sure to keep my tone conversational, and I would check in from time to time just to make sure I wasn't speaking too fast. By the time the interview wrapped up, we were all laughing again, just as we were at the beginning. It was a good interview. The recruiter said they'll be in touch in the next 5 days. So the next day, I sent a personalised thank you email to the interviewers and the recruiter, and then waited patiently. I checked my emails every day, even the junk folder. Each time I received a notification, my heart skipped a beat. Maybe this was it. It never was. 5 days passed, nothing. I told myself they were probably running a bit behind schedule. But as time went on, my hopes began to fade. By day 14, I'd given up. And then, out of nowhere, an email from the company appeared in my inbox. My heart jumped, only to sink moments later. It was a short email, generic. They thanked me for my application. They informed me that I had been unsuccessful. They advised me that they wouldn't be moving forward with my application. However, they told me that they would keep me in mind if something suitable came up in the future. I sat there for a long time, just staring at the screen. All that effort, all that preparation, all for nothing. And the worst part, no feedback. To this day, I still have no idea what went wrong. Let's look at Sam's story. Sam didn't just apply for a job. He poured himself into the process. He researched the company thoroughly, making sure to cover all bases. When someone spends this amount of time preparing for an interview, any rejection will hit harder than it usually would. To make matters worse, Sam didn't receive an email response within the promised timeline. He was checking his emails daily, with his emotions tied to each response. When Sam finally received the rejection email, it was a generic, automated response with no explanation or feedback. This type of response leaves candidates like Sam questioning everything. Did I say something wrong? Was I ever really considered? Was the decision already made before the interview? Without feedback, candidates can't learn, grow, or even understand what went wrong, which leads to frustration and feelings of hopelessness. It also prevents them from having a sense of closure and can demotivate them when making new job applications. Sam's experience captures why individuals lose faith in the recruitment process. They give everything, follow all of the advice, do everything right, and most of the time they don't even receive a response from the employer. And if they do, it's usually a generic email with zero feedback. So, has this happened to you, or maybe to someone you know? If it has, then please consider helping us. We are the Merit System, and we want to put an end to ghosting. We believe that the recruitment process, as it is today, is broken, and we are actively trying to change it by making the process more transparent and fairer for applicants. So here's how it will work. Let's say you're looking for a new job. Your first step will be to go to themeritsystem.com and perform a job search. When you find a role that you're suited for, you'll be able to apply for it through the Merit System website. Once you submit your application, the Merit System will automatically anonymize your identity. This means that the company reviewing your application will not be able to see your name or your personal details. If the company selects your application, you'll receive an email inviting you to attend an in-person assessment. This assessment will be in the form of a multiple choice quiz. Once you've passed the multiple choice quiz, you'll be awarded the role. We're really big on transparency. That's why, throughout the hiring process, we'll allow you to see all other anonymous applications submitted for your role. So even if your application is unsuccessful, you won't be left wondering why. In addition, once a company has selected an applicant to work with, we require that company to leave a public comment explaining their decision. All applicants will then receive an email with this comment and hopefully gain a sense of closure. No more second guessing. Job hunting is exhausting for applicants, and too often companies simply just ignore applicants once they're no longer interested. It's wrong. We believe providing some form of feedback to applicants is the least that a company can do. The overall process will be quick, transparent, and most of all, fair. We want companies to move away from the old way of hiring. It's a very big task and we're a very small team. If you would like to support us in our mission, please consider clicking the links below.